This is section 4.3, number 6, and it asks what is the average value of f from 0 to 2? 0 to 2, we have area here. See, this is a half by a half, so a half times a half is 1/4 for a box. We got one box, two box, and this is half of two boxes, so that's one box. So we got 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4, making a total of 3/4. And so the total area under this, because it's 0 for the rest of it, is 3/4 divided by the width of the interval, 2, makes 3/8. If I tamp down this curve, 3/8 is 3.75. It would make level out to be that high. This would have the same amount of area as under this curve. So the average value is 3/8. Okay, now we got to look at this one. So it's 0, and then it starts up here and goes down. Again, it's the same kind of units. So each one's a quarter. So we got a quarter, half of a quarter, and half a quarter. That's an eighth, and an eighth. So this is 2/4 or a half for the area. So the half is the area spread over 2, which is 1/4. So if I went to 1/4, the area under this triangle would equal the area that way, where it's an average height of 1/4. Now it says, what's the average value of f times g? So we need to figure out what f times g looks like. So I'm going to draw a graph of f times g. So f is 1 through that section, but g is 0. So 1 times 0 is 0. And then this one goes from 1 to 0 over the next half, but this is 0, so that's 0. And then from here to here, this goes from 1 to a half, but this one is 0, so 0 times that is 0. And this goes from a half to 0 over this unit, but this is 0, so it's 0. So the area under the curve y equals 0 is 0 divided by the width of the interval, which is 2, is 0. So does the average value of one function times the average value of the other function equal the average value of the two functions multiplied? And the answer is no. Let's look at number, I think it's 7. Okay, so this is like the worksheet I did for you. We have a graph, and at -10 to -5.5, wherever that is, the area under the curve is 10. So I'll just go say, oh, there's +10 here under some sort of shape. And then from -10 to I think I should make this bigger because everything else is in between these two numbers. So I'm going to scratch that and say, here's -10, and way over here is -5.5. And so we have -10 to -8.5. That's 1.5 over, and minus 8.5 to minus 7, that's 1.5 over. And then from minus 7 to minus 5.5, that's 1.5. So all of these should be equal widths. Let's move the 10 over to there. That should be the same as that, same as that. And this should be about there. But in any case, from the overall area is plus 10. The area from minus 10 to minus 8.5, just on this interval, is 8. So from here to here, there's a plus 8. From here to there, there's a plus 1. And if the overall area is 10, and this is plus 8 and plus 1, this must be plus 1 to make the total 10. So it says, what's the area from negative 8.5 to negative 7? We figured out that has to be plus 1. Now it's messing with us. It says, if we have an area of plus 10 from negative 7 to negative 8.5. First of all, that's backwards, negative 7 to negative 8.5. So I'm going to put a minus here and turn these around to make it negative 8.5 to negative 7. So now I can deal with the numbers, and then I just have to make it negative on the answer. So if I take whatever this graph looks like, that has a lot of area here, and then only 1 in the last two parts, and multiply by 10, the area here will not be 8, but would turn into 80. The area here would not be 1, but would be 10. And the area here would not be 1, but would be 10. And then if I subtract 8 from the height, so this is moved, it's stretched way up, so there's 80, 10, and 10. And then if I subtract 8, I got to move the whole thing down 8. All right, so if there's, and I'm trying to do from minus 8.5 to 7, which right now has 10, area of 10, but I'm dropping the curve down 8 on a width of 1.5. So 8 times 1.5 is 12. So by dropping it down 12, I'm going to lose an area of 12 under this portion. Well, if it's at plus 10 and I lose 12, I'm going to have an area of minus 2. But this said do it the other way, so the minus of that would be, the minus of the minus 2 would be plus 2. That one takes some thinking about what's going on there.